Nolan, good to see you. I'd like to ask, are you ever too old for an annuity? As Americans live longer and face growing concerns about outliving their savings, annuities are becoming a popular way to create steady retirement income. In fact, annuity sales surpassed 432 billion in 2024. We're still waiting on the 2025 numbers. That's all according to LIMRA. So timing is everything. If you're under 50, an annuity probably isn't the right move. But on the flip side, most insurers stop selling them once you hit 90. So what is the right age to buy an annuity?
Thanks, Erin. And great first question. I think timing is pretty important, and annuities, as we'll get into, are something that they solve something, and that is income, but it's hard to know when you might need it.
Right.
Like you said, there's usually an age range. A lot of annuity issuers won't issue annuities to those under the age of 50. And 90 or 95 sometimes is the cutoff. I think 85 with some companies won't even issue up to 90. We usually find that the sweet spot is somewhere between maybe 55 to 65, maybe 70 years old. A lot of times with annuities, you're not buying them for income right away. You're buying them for income at some unknown point down the road. So
Right.
to buy them ahead of time is prudent for some people.
Mm-hmm. And you were just kind of answering this, but what problem do annuities solve?
Yeah, annuities solve the unique problem of income planning. When we're sitting down with people and talking about their income sources, a lot of times it's just Social Security these days. I mean, you look at this chart and you see that pensions, workers with a pension by year of birth, pensions are becoming an exception to the rule,
Right.
not any type of standard practice.
Right.
So when it's just two Social Securities and maybe a pension, but maybe not, income planning is what annuities really help solve for. Now, there's three different types of annuities primarily. You can have fixed or indexed or variable. They each have their own attributes, and maybe that's a whole discussion in and of itself. But most of the time, if you're using an annuity for income, it's going to come through the form of either an indexed or variable annuities. And there are pros and cons to each of those.
Mhm. And of course, buying an annuity could mean loss of liquidity. So how much of your assets should be in an annuity?
Yeah, no blanket answer, but most times you don't want to put much more than, I don't know, 40, 45, 50, 60% of your total investable assets into any type of insurance. That can be a combination of annuities and life insurance and things like that. But you're pinpointing exactly the problem is a loss of liquidity. So
Mhm.
when you're purchasing an annuity or using one for income planning, it's also important to make sure that you have adequate supply of funds elsewhere in case something comes up
Right.
before you're using the annuity,
Right.
for sure.
Another question that I feel comes up pretty often is what are the tax implications with annuities for you and your heirs?
Well, if you buy an annuity and put it in either an IRA or Roth IRA, the tax implications are not that different than they always would be. However, if you buy what's called a non-qualified annuity or an annuity from like bank money or proceeds from the sale of a business or things like that, the funds in those annuities are tax deferred. So you do get a deferral, or you do get to postpone the taxes owed on the annuity growth until you start taking money out. And then if your kids inherit the annuity at that point, they inherit the annuity as though they bought it the day you bought it,
Hmm.
not the day that you passed away. So there's a little weird IRS rule about non-qualified annuities, and it's a little niche, but if it's an IRA or Roth IRA, not too much of a difference whatsoever.
So, Nolan, let's say somebody comes into your office, you determine that an annuity is not a good fit. What are some alternatives for stable income in retirement?
Yeah, for younger folks, what you're looking at is usually a wide breadth of stocks and bonds in your portfolio, specifically meant for yield. You're trying to kind of plan your income ahead of time, and if you're
Yeah.
not using insurance, you do need to use a wide array of different investments in order to achieve that. But if somebody's too old for an annuity, a lot of times they're finding just bank assets are perfectly appropriate for them. If they
Mm-hmm.
only need 3, 4, 5% per year, CDs and money markets still achieve that. So you don't have to overcomplicate it. It doesn't need to be any specific type of investment, but I think annuities fit like a very specific 10, 20-year time period that they can help
Mm-hmm.
protect your
Mm-hmm.
income.
Yeah, no cookie cutter answers here, but certainly there's something To me, that's very interesting with the increase in sales that it's making sense for a lot of people right now. So Nolan, if somebody would like to sit down with you and determine if an annuity makes sense for them, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, they can call at 616-301-2581 or go to our website, which is cornerstone-rp.com, and fill out the contact us box at the bottom of the homepage.
Great. Nolan, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.